Live from Austin, Texas, with host Rosie Newberry. Local trends, shopping, and more. This is Studio 512.
Good morning, everybody. Thank you so much for joining us today for Studio 512. Are you looking to pick up a new hobby in 2026? How about fiber arts like knitting or crochet? Like, look at how colorful this table is. It's so exciting. Local author Megan Fernandez has 2 brand new books that can help out even absolute beginners. She is here to tell us more. We're happy to have her. Good morning.
Good morning.
This is so cool. Tell me about how you got into crocheting, how you got into knitting, and why you like them so much.
Yeah, well, I learned how to crochet and knit pretty young, relatively. I learned how to knit when I was 16 from my boyfriend's mom.
Well, that's
And then I learned...
She has to be proud, like, all these years later.
I love her. I still send her copies of my books.
Oh.
And yeah, she's really sweet, an amazing person. And I learned how to crochet in India from my grandmother's neighbor. And yeah,
May I compliment you on picking up skills from, you know what I mean, from people who have them to offer? Because not always do people, like, pick up resources like that.
Yeah, well, I mean, they're both really special to me, these people who taught me these crafts, and now I get to be that person for other people, which is really special.
Yeah, and now you have the ability to reach so many with these 2 new books. And guys, they just dropped. We're talking December and January, so these are very brand new things. I do want to ask about, you know, why crocheting, knitting, the fiber arts, why this is an art form you really like.
Well, I love color, as you can see, and it's a really great way to play with color in lots of different ways, and it feels kind of therapeutic to me. Just in the winter or just anytime, it really speaks to something in me. Being able to choose colors, being able to choose what colors I'm going to wear, things that I might not be able to find in a store, or if I'm just looking for, you know, something that's going to make me happy to wear. It's also really communal, so you can do it with other people, and you can be a part of a knitting group. I know so many people who've moved to a new town, found a knitting group, and that's where their friend group came from. So
I think that's really sweet.
Yeah.
I actually use it to pass time during football season.
Yes. Also, you can feel productive while you're watching TV. Yeah.
Yes. Sometimes I really want to plug in, but football, there's so much of it that, like, it just becomes a wash to me at some point.
Yeah.
And so the winter time is the time
Perfect.
that I tend to crochet. But I do not know how to knit, so we're going to talk about the differences between those two real quickly. If you wouldn't mind just teaching us a little bit.
Yeah, well, knitting takes 2 needles. These are knitting needles. And
is this a granny square that I'm looking at?
granny square is a crochet thing.
Okay.
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
And this is just, you could make this a scarf. You could, you know, in the book, we kind of talk about how when you first get started, you want to just do straight knitting so that it's really easy. But yeah, so knitting takes 2 needles, and basically you are wrapping the yarn around one of the needles and pulling it through the loops on the other side. And then they all magically appear on the other side, the other needle.
My mom will be really impressed with this. She makes scarves, sweaters, you name it.
Yeah.
But I will say you are looking at a left-handed person.
Yeah, but knitting
right now.
knitting for left-handed people is the same as for right-handed.
Oh, is it really?
It is. It's
Okay.
crochet where that will change.
That dominant hand is going to change.
Yeah.
And there is an option for lefties to get a lefty version of the crochet book.
Yeah, so in the book, if you are left-handed, you can download the book with all the pictures flipped.
Oh,
so
that's really helpful.
Left-handers can see what they're doing.
You said the 10%.
Yeah, I think it's 10% of people who are left-handed.
The fact that you were doing that just so easily was really amazing. And now we're going to show people a little bit of crochet. Like, to the naked eye, it might look very similar, but it's going to go down to just one piece of tool.
Yeah, one hook.
Yeah.
A hook is for crochet. And the fabric is a little bit different, and sometimes they can look the same, but sometimes they can look different. And in fact, a granny square is like what this blanket is down here. Yeah.
Okay. So now we know what granny squares look like.
Yeah, and also this is made of granny squares.
Oh,
this
really?
top. Yeah. So yeah, with crochet, you are holding the yarn kind of the same way, but you hold the hook, the one hook, in your dominant hand, and you kind of wrap the yarn around depending on your stitch.
It's called yarn over, right?
Yep. But for this, I'm just going to go straight through the fabric, pull a loop through, and then pull a loop through both loops, and that's called single crochet.
Single crochet.
Yeah.
And we can do double crochet.
Triple.
Yeah.
Yeah, all kinds of things. But the books start from 0, and there's drawings and photographs so that people can really get a handle.
And you said people have reached out to you to say, I got maybe a craft kit for Christmas. I'd love to try it, but I'm a little bit lost.
Yes, exactly. And this, one thing I love about physical books is that you don't have to hit pause. Like, you can just look at what you're supposed to be focusing on, and the drawings really dive in sort of like a microscope into the stitch structure so that you can really see what's going on.
Which is so cool. And then I think you've brought kind of a smorgasbord of some of the things that are offered in these books.
Yeah.
But can you talk to me about the realm of things that we can make?
Absolutely. So the books are designed to go from absolute beginner, and then each project builds on those skills.
Oh, nice.
So you'll start off with something really simple like a cowl or a scarf. And
then you can get benefit out of that. I mean, this is winter time.
Yeah.
We might have cool weather.
Yeah, I mean, we know it does freeze in Austin. And
February's coming, y'all.
you guys will be ready if you have your sweaters and your heat goes out. But yeah, you can start off with cowls and then to little fingerless mitts. I know even some people with too much air conditioning in their office building like to have something on their hands. And then it goes all the way up to sweaters, hats, little triangle scarves that are really in right now.
I was going to say, and these little shoes look like
little slippers.
Could use a fair amount of like skill set.
Yes, and that's one of the last patterns in the crochet book. But by the time you make your way through all of the projects in the book, that will be easy.
Simple.
Yeah.
A cinch. Okay.
Yeah.
So really cool stuff. And you actually have a launch going on tonight.
Yeah.
One of our other guests, I can't believe this, was crocheting while you guys were waiting together to come on TV.
Yeah.
And they're going to come to this event tonight. So tell me about it.
Yeah. So at Vintage Wine and Books, or Books and Wine, on East 11th, they're having a kind of launch party tonight, and there'll be lots of knitters, crocheters, and people who want to be knitters and crocheters coming. And my friends at Knit ATX, who've been on this show before, are going to come and help people start their first stitches, bring some yarn, and we can drink some wine, and it should be really fun.
That sounds like a great get together, in my opinion.
Yeah.
Congratulations on your 2 new books.
Thank you so much.
All right. PomPomMag.com is the place to see Megan's latest patterns. It's kind of where the books were born out of, and you can check out her book launch tonight at Vintage Books and Wine.
The Wall is back on NBC and Peacock for its 6th season as contestants attempt to build a huge cash prize. Joining us now is host of the show, Chris Hardwick. Good morning, Chris. How are you?
I'm good. How are you doing?
I'm great. I'm pumped to be speaking with you. Now, Chris, I know this show has been very high stakes now in its 6th season. So what can we expect from this season?
I don't want to spoil too much, but I do believe we've given away a lot of money this season, which is great because, you know, if you've seen the show, you know that you cannot help but root for the contestants on every episode of the show. You know, you get very happy when they leave with money because you get to know them, you know, more than on most shows, and you discover that there are these amazing examples of humanity and, you know, people who've given so much more to life than they've usually gotten back. And so this show really is a chance to hopefully change their lives in a really positive way, and not just their lives, but their families and their communities. And so it really is, the show is an emotional roller coaster, but it is an incredible ride. You feel all the emotions, and hopefully by the end you feel, you know, you feel good and you feel happy that you watch the show. I never could have predicted that when I first took the job. Like, oh, it's not just a game show. It's really just kind of this emotional experience where you get to know these wonderful people and you play a game in the process.
Yeah, it's kind of like a twofold there. And I also really love that humanity aspect. And I want to take it a step further and kind of ask you, you know, what's it like for you viewing the game happen in real time as the host, and what's it meant to you to be so vital in this show? Because I know you serve as producer as well, right?
Yeah, I mean, I don't do the physical production of the show. That's handled by Andrew Glassman, who created the show, and he is just amazing. He's just such a sweet man, and, you know, he really is the heart of the show. and I come in when we're ready to tape, but I really appreciate that I get to take this journey with the folks who are on the show. I mean, it takes about 2.5 hours to shoot an episode, and I just try to stay in it with them the entire time and keep them present. And I want to make the experience as positive for them as possible, because it is a surreal thing to just all of a sudden be on a soundstage with this, building-sized wall that could potentially change your life. And so, I really just do the best that I can to check in on them, make sure they're okay, make sure, to remind them to breathe and just kind of be whatever they need me to be, a therapist or a friend or a high five or a, hey, you want to sit down on the floor for a minute and take a minute and just take a breath? Let's do it. It's okay. You're okay. I don't want them to feel rushed. I really want them to be in the moment and take it all in. So that's what I try to do.
Yeah, totally. I mean, anybody having a chance at life-changing money is a very vulnerable position to be in. Now, I've heard you talk really highly about people that compete on this show, and I know that there's been countless contestants that have come through and competed on the wall. So any backstories that really have stuck out to you with any contestants? Because even like last week's duo, father and son, Steven and Smith, were really incredible.
That was an incredible episode, and I was so happy that they won $1.6 million. The episode that aired last night was incredible. It was Vincent and Katie. They're both Navy veterans, and Vincent is a firefighter paramedic. They live in Florida, and he received a call that someone had surrendered a newborn to their safe haven box. And so he responded to the call, and ultimately they were able to adopt her. And a story like that, especially as a parent, and knowing how meaningful that is, and knowing that they were able to be a part of that, those are the stories. And even last week's, Stephen and Seth, a father and a son, the parent and child stories really resonate with me now, because our daughter's almost 4, and I just know what that means. And I know that, as a parent, you would do anything for your child, and as a child, you would do anything for your parent. And so those stories really, I mean, there have been numerous times on the show where I get, emotional, even if I'm watching back after the episode's over. But those are the ones that are particularly, resonate with me as a newish parent now.
Yeah, to be able to see yourself in some of these stories, I think makes a huge difference. Now, taking a brief pause from the wall, mental health is one of the largest epidemics in the world, obviously. And you've got this lovely little podcast called I Think You're Overthinking It, which is kind of doing its small part of helping people along the way. So I'm curious, just real quick, why was it important for you to create this outlet, and what advice would you give to others who kind of share maybe your anxiety and over-analysis similarities?
I mean, I love that you asked the question. I kind of themed the podcast around this because I'm an overthinker. And I think for me, the way that I respond to things is like, oh, if I'm struggling with something, I really like to talk about it, because I want to help normalize those conversations so that other people don't feel alone. And because sometimes it is helpful to feel like, oh, this thing that I think is just so unique to me is a thing. It's a thing that people have, and it's okay, and it's normal, and you can navigate it, and there's nothing to be ashamed of. And they are things, that so many of us deal with. So I just talk very openly about it, in the same way that I've been a sober person for 20 to 20, what year is it? 23 years almost, or just past 22. It was 2003, so 2026 will be 23 years. And so I've always talked openly about that too, because I just want people to know, like, hey, if this is something you're considering, it's achievable and you can do it, and, get help. Don't be afraid to talk to people. Therapy is great. Get a support structure, talk to friends, don't be ashamed. And so that's why, and everyone, and so many people, particularly in our business, overthink, And so it's just kind of navigating that and trying to just let people know that it's okay and they're okay. That's really kind of why I like to do it.
Yeah, well, thank you for doing it. I think it's important, and obviously a lot of people, I'm sure, are benefiting from that. Well, Chris, thank you so much for being vulnerable about your mental health and being so insightful about The Wall. Season 6 is airing Mondays on NBC and streaming on Peacock. Thank you so much.
Welcome back, everyone. Austin-based producer and artist Joe Derniak is releasing his first solo music in nearly 10 years under the name Pretty Something. He joins us now to talk about it and mental health, which is a big portion of this EP. Joe, good morning.
Good morning. Thank you for having me here on this beautiful day.
Well, it's a beautiful day. It's a mental health day, I think. When we talk about like the moodiness of the weather outside, it kind of gives us these stay inside cozy vibes.
Absolutely.
Yeah. All right, let's talk about what made the timing right for this debut EP to come out in 2026, because you haven't had new music out in about a decade.
Yeah, so there was nothing specific about 2026 where I said, like, this is when it has to come out. It was really just the music telling me when it was time. I needed to find my voice, and they always say, write what you know. And what I know is chronic pain and depression, unfortunately. Or fortunately, because it's given me this thing to use to maybe help other people. And it finally was time. It just told me that it was time to release this music.
And tell me about Pretty Something. You've got kind of a cute little catchphrase to go with
yeah,
it.
so it's like pretty good, pretty bad, pretty something.
Pretty Something.
Yes.
I like that. But let's delve into kind of the mental health component of it, because there is a real balance, I think, between just this is the worst that I'm feeling and I'm putting that into song, and also I want it to resonate with people. I want it to sound good. So talk to me a little bit about what was going through your head when you were putting these songs together.
I was trying to formulate a way of speaking about, like, because this album is like a love letter to the dark passenger, where like speaking to the entity that's beside me that's maybe causing these problems, or I'm just experiencing them. But I didn't want the music to be depressing. I didn't want it to be a depressing listen while you're depressed.
Right.
So I kind of aimed for more upbeat music. There's a little something for everybody on the record, but it is on a whole more upbeat than down and depressing.
I'm really interested by that choice, because you and I were also talking off camera about how hard depression can be when you, for example, can't even get out of bed or can't get off the couch.
Absolutely, and I have a song about that called Get Out, but it's really, really hard to be your own advocate when you're feeling depressed. It's hard to seek help, and there is help out there. It's just sometimes hard to find and hard to get off the couch and do it when you're feeling depressed.
It's something that I want to ask you about further, like, how do you cope? How do you do it? And is it putting it into song? This is the way that I'm finding to cope with having to be my own advocate, because it's a lot of work.
Yes.
When I'm otherwise depressed or very tired.
Yeah, it is. It definitely helped that I found my voice in this way, and that I wrote this music. But I can't say that it wasn't with medication. You know, like I needed the medication that I found with a provider, a therapist who retired now, unfortunately. But it's a combination of a lot of things that get you back to whole, getting back to the things you love. And maybe not even realizing that you've stopped loving things.
And so, an optimistic outlook. Who do you want to listen to this EP? Who are you hoping to reach?
I've already heard back from some people on the first like 3 singles, people that I didn't think were struggling, and all of a sudden they were telling me how much it resonated with them. I think that this belongs to the listeners. Whoever finds this music, I hope it speaks to them in the way that they can understand what I'm going through, and maybe they feel less alone.
I really like the sound of that. And I want to brag on your pedigree for a while if we can, because you've been behind the scenes a lot.
Yes.
But now, as you say, you're finding your voice, you're coming forward. Can you tell me a little bit about what you might have done behind the scenes that people might recognize?
So I do post-production mixing for television and film, so things like The Real Housewives.
I think that's so cool. I think that's so cool.
And then just mixing and producing for other artists. I've been facilitating other artists for a long time, and when I couldn't speak and have my own voice, it was easier to borrow joy from other people in their projects. And so I found joy in that, and now I've come back to my own music and find joy in it.
And how long then did it take you to write this EP?
There were little bits and such from years ago, but the process of compiling it all, recording it, mixing it, probably took 4 to 6 months of time. And I have, because of my background in the industry, I was able to do it all in my home mix room.
I was gonna say, you could probably polish it pretty quickly once you have all those bits and pieces.
Right, yeah, it was
together.
like the culling, but yeah, it was actually a good time. I felt really joyful about the process. I didn't feel, for the first time, I didn't feel like I was a perfectionist. It was more of just getting it done, and then the getting it done brought me joy.
Oh, and that's so interesting because perfectionism is the opposite. What do they say? Getting it done is the opposite of perfectionism.
Yeah, it's like don't let the perfect get in the way of the good.
Yeah.
Or the done.
Or the done.
And it feels really good to be done with it in a way that I can share it with other people.
I think that's incredible. And it's coming out not too long from now, right? January 23rd?
Correct, yeah. And there are 3 singles out now, but I definitely want everybody to check out the album. I think there's something for everybody there.
I think that's so cool. And since I've got someone who is so into music with me, I have to know, when did you start? How young were you when you got into music?
My parents forced me to play the piano when I was a kid. And then I took up the alto saxophone in like elementary school. Then I flipped over to guitar in middle school, and then the kind of rest is history. I just picked up instruments along the way so that I could make an album.
Wow, I am so jealous of that ability. That's incredible. And a songwriter to boot on top of that. So
Thank you.
I've achieved a lot. And I'm really, we've just met, but I'm really proud of you personally for putting out there some vulnerable stuff in order to get people to be able to listen to it and possibly resonate with it, reach an audience you didn't know that you had.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's awesome.
Well, thank you for having me today. This is incredible, and I hope that people find the album helpful in some way.
Yeah, I'm telling you, I'm going to listen to it right now. I appreciate it, Joe. Thank you so much. Learn more at PrettySomethingMusic.com or on social media at PrettySomethingMusic. The following portion of Studio 512 is sponsored by Austin Telco Federal Credit Union. It is a brand new start to a brand new year. Do you want to create some financial goals for 2026? Pamela Cotton, Vice President of Member Services at Austin Telco Federal Credit Union, is here with some tips for success for us. So Pam, first of all, why are financial resolutions so important?
That's a great question, Rosie, because financial resolutions or goals, whichever you refer to, is so important. You're going to start talking about long-term wealth, how you're going to build your wealth over time. And then you want to track your progress. So manage what you're doing in saving your money as well. And then when you're saving money, you're going to improve your financial situation because you're looking at things that you want to do, like paying off debt, things like that. So it's going to put you in a great financial situation. And then when you're in that great situation, not worried about things, you're going to reduce that financial stress as well.
And I know that some financial stress might have gone up around the holidays. Maybe we shopped a little bit too much. So of course we want a fresh start on the year, and giving it our best. So what are some of the most common financial resolutions that you tend to hear?
Yeah, so the biggest thing, and I think the most important, is to create a budget. We talk about that all the time. Yeah. That's the most important thing. And if you've already started with a budget, now's the perfect time to review it, evaluate some things. Maybe your job changed, you got a raise, things like that. So you want to look at those situations and determine what you need to do in that budget. Invest in retirement. It's never too early, it's never too late. So you always want to start now. Start at the beginning of the year, it's the perfect time. And then debt, it's so important to not have too much debt. It's okay to have some, but pay it down, pay it off. That's going to put you in a great situation. It improves your credit score when you have lower debt.
Subscriptions, y'all. Check those subscriptions because you might be losing money.
So many that you don't need.
Yeah. Well, that's why looking over the budget is so important. Okay,
Absolutely.
What are some helpful tips that you would give folks to help them achieve their resolutions?
Yeah, so you want to set goals, first of all, and then small and large goals. So start small, because that way you can celebrate the little successes, and that'll put you in the position to get those larger goals in line. So definitely want to set the goals, track your progress, see where you are. So we say create a plan with a timeline. Track it. Did you overshoot? Do you need to step back a little bit? But you always want to track that progress because you want to set yourself up for success, right? And then celebrate along the way. When you're doing those great things, like you wanted to save a little bit, you did it, celebrate and continue to do that. Stay on track.
Some really great tips today, Pam. Thank you so much and Happy New Year.
Happy New Year.
To learn more about all of the services Austin Telco Federal Credit Union has to offer, visit atfcu.org. The preceding portion of Studio 512 was sponsored by Austin Telco Federal Credit Union. Welcome back. The Bullock Museum helps young learners through their various programming, including the Little Texans program and STEAM Lab. Joining us now are the head of school programs, Catherine Whited, and museum programs coordinator, Kimberly Krapp. We're happy to have them both. Y'all, good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Lovely to see you, Kimberly. Let's start with Little Texans.
Yes.
We just kind of like to do this at the start of our segments, remind everybody what it's about.
Yes. Little Texans is our first museum experience for our smallest visitors, normally 2 to 5 with their caregivers. And every month we have a different Texas history topic, and we do some tactile learning and play. And this month we're really excited to partner with the Elizabeth Ney Museum.
Oh, cool.
Yes, they're bringing one of their art crates with them by the local artist Belly Lou. And so they're going to talk about Texas women on the frontier. So
I love that.
We're very excited. And then after our program, we're also going to do a small tour of our ranching exhibit, and the kids will get to see some different houses that are in there.
It is just so cool. Like when you go back and see, like, you know, this is what people really did.
Right.
This is the house they built. This is how they lived. It kind of like blows your mind, you know, how much things have modernized in that amount of time. But like, we're so grateful, obviously, to those settlers.
Yes, yes.
Otherwise, we wouldn't be standing here today. And I love that you're focusing on women. So talk to me about these books.
Well, I think everyone knows about the King Ranch in Texas.
Big one.
But yes, but most people don't know that Henrietta King actually was in charge of the ranch after her husband died. And so she ran it with her son-in-law for almost 50 years.
Wow.
And at the end, they had something like 500,000 acres in Texas. And so she wasn't just a pretty face. She was highly involved in everything and really made the ranch into what it still is today.
Yeah.
And then Lizzie Williams was also one of the very few women who went on cattle drives. And so at that point, almost no women were part of that. So she has a really interesting story. And one of the great things about coming to the Bullock Museum is you can get a little taste of Texas history, see something that you're interested in, and then go back and do a little bit more research or learn something more about it. So
I love learning a little bit of something and being like, pull Google up.
Right, definitely.
I've got to check that out. I've got to learn more about that. And you brought a little activity to just kind of show us what these little learners get to do.
Right. We have some sensory bins at the end of the program, and we've got little cowboy hats
They are precious.
and animals, and so they can work on skills of holding small things and moving them over. And we have pom-poms and tons of different bins like this for kids to use. So
I just have to
fun.
show everybody, we've got like little horseshoe.
Yes.
We've got like little cowboy hat, precious little things.
Right.
But working on those tactile kind of
Yes.
motor skills, very
Yes.
big stuff. And let's take it up a step if we can, Catherine, because you actually have what's the STEAM Lab is offering.
Yes, so for our older learners, we're hosting STEAM Lab, which is where we take the opportunity to highlight scientific discoveries and their impact on history.
And this one is?
This is going to be all about the telegraph. So for the folks at home who don't know, we are celebrating the 250th anniversary of the signing of the Declaration of Independence this year. And so we are taking a look at American inventions that have had an impact on the state of Texas, and the telegraph was certainly one of those.
Certainly one of those. And you brought out this equipment, and I said, that's above my pay grade. But you know what? It's so cool that kids that are just a little bit bit older can get into this at such an early age. So talk to me about what's connected here and how this all works.
Certainly. So this is a modern telegraph. We've got a simple circuit here. And so this is the transmitter. This is the telegraph key. And then this is the receiver over here. What made the telegraph so impactful is that it was the first invention, or the first machine that really allowed people to communicate over long distances instantaneously.
Right. Instead of sending that letter and it's the Pony Express.
Literally. The telegraph was actually the end of the Pony Express because people could send messages so much more quickly. And Samuel Morse and Alfred Vail invented the telegraph in 1837. In 1838, Samuel Morse was shopping the telegraph around and offered Texas exclusive rights to the telegraph.
Whoa.
Back then, Texas was a nation. He needed people to pick up the technology. We did not take him up on that.
Wow.
The 17th century equivalent of leaving him on red. We never replied. And because of that, actually, telegraph did not come to Texas until the 1870s or 1880s.
So other states actually got to use it quicker than Texas did because Texas was a nation and the nation of Texas said no.
Yeah, the nation of Texas said, we've got a lot of other things going on right now.
Okay. Yeah. Well, you've got a way to do a little telegraphing for us that we can see.
Yes, so this is what folks can expect at STEAM Lab. So what made the telegraph tricky is that it didn't actually transmit words. It can only transmit dots, which are represented by just a little tap, or dashes, which are a little bit longer like this. And so Morse developed the Morse code, which people might be aware of.
Sure.
And all letters and numbers are represented by a series of dots and dashes. So we have a word that we use here a lot at the Ebola Texas State History Museum, Texas. Here's what that word looks like in Morse code.
That's so cool.
Yeah,
so dash, dot, and then the X is really tricky.
A little complicated.
Okay,
yeah.
long dash, two dots, long dash. Okay.
Yes, and so if you want to transmit the word Texas, this is what it would look like. So we've got dash, dot, dash, dot, dot, dash, dot, dash, dot, dot, dot.
I am impressed.
So now the folks in El Paso or Houston or wherever you want to send know what you just said.
Okay, and they know we're talking about the state of Texas.
Exactly.
I appreciate that. Okay, cool stuff coming up. We're in our last minute here. Homeschool Day, real quickly.
Yes, Homeschool Day is taking place on Friday, February 6th, and we are going to be highlighting Japan and all things Japanese culture at the Bullock Museum. So there's a lot of fun activities for homeschool educators and their students.
Sounds good. We'll have to leave it there. Y'all, we really appreciate your time. I learned something today. Dot, dot, dash. I'm making Texas. All right, for more details on all the programming at the Bullock Museum, visit thestoryofTexas.com. The following portion of Studio 512 is sponsored by The Bugmaster. Rodent issues can cause costly disruptions for businesses, and winter is when vigilance is most important. CEO Dauphin Ewart of The Bugmaster is here to talk about his commercial services. Dauphin, what sort of businesses get hit harder with rodent populations during the winter?
Yeah, it's a good question. So we see them in all kinds of places, but usually areas that have a lot of food, because the food is very interesting to rodents. We'll see also, businesses along waterways can see more activity because those are areas where your wildlife populations are going to be a little bit higher just naturally. It's really all kinds of businesses that can have these sort of problems, whether it's from landscaping. Businesses also usually have bigger areas where there's dumpsters and things that are really helpful for rodents in their day-to-day life.
Okay, so what should businesses be doing now to prepare for winter rodent activity?
Yeah, so it's a great question, and we always recommend that businesses in particular have an ongoing rodent monitoring program. One of the things that most people probably don't even notice that's around most businesses that you see are rodent monitoring stations. And so those stations have some indicators inside of them that tell us as professionals whether there's activity, kind of where that activity is coming from. And that helps us know what to do to help that business manage that risk.
Really inconspicuous if you've got those up and moving and we just pass by them.
It's true, yeah, and that is the intention. We don't want things to be, disruptive, and it's a normal part of the environment, and we just want to make sure that the businesses and the human health gets protected.
Gotcha. Okay, so how do you help businesses stay protected long term?
Yeah, so what we really like to do is to take an approach where we maintain monitoring. Monitoring kind of tells us the level of activity around, which also helps us understand where we may need to look most closely to see where that building might be vulnerable, whether it's got access points that wildlife might be able to get into. And then we want to seal those up as quickly as possible to make sure that the business is aware of all the things that can be done to make sure it gets protected long term.
I know you guys are constantly vigilant. So thank you, Dauphin, for your time.
Thank you.
To start a quote with a quick response time, go to thebugmaster.com or call the number on your screen. The preceding portion of Studio 512 was sponsored by the Bugmaster. We have a lot of fun here on Studio 512. If you missed any of our great segments, be sure to check out our website where we like to post the fun things we do. Our feed covers content like arts and entertainment, food and drink, fashion and beauty, home and garden, stuff for kids and pets, as well as information from area experts. In addition, you can check out web-exclusive content that you can only find on Studio512TV.com. We also love to post behind-the-scenes funny moments, outfit inspirations, and more on social media. Find us by searching for Studio 512 on your favorite platform. You don't want to miss a single post. Be sure to follow us, check out our website, and watch us every weekday at 11 a.m. right here on CW Austin. Hey, we are happy to be able to offer you some help if you're out there searching for jobs. KXAN has partnered with ZipRecruiter to help you find thousands of job openings in Austin and around the country. Just go to kxan.com/jobs where you can search thousands of new postings every single day. Check it out right now.